Hey guys, in this video I would like to tell you a bit about how astrology is seen today, about its reasons, about what it used to be and what it is now currently, and a few lesser known facts as well that should clarify plenty of things about the subject. Astrology is an ancient, if not the most ancient science in human history, going back thousands of years. It was applied regularly in plenty of different ancient cultures, such as the Babylonians, Egyptians, ancient Greeks, all the way to the Hindus with Vedic astrology and so on. This has always been a sacred and central science, and not only in ancient times, but also in the Middle Ages and in the early modern period too. By now it has lost its true reputation and has been discredited and exiled from today's scientific spectrum. It is not considered a real science anymore. Whereas in the past, a lot of famous scientists were also astrologists, like, for example, Isaac Newton, being a physicist, was also an astrologist. We couldn't imagine a physicist doing astrology today, right? These are complete opposites in our age. Or Galileo Galilei, or Kepler, and the list goes on. We could even mention professors, scientists from the modern age who were recognized experts of their respective fields while being dedicated astrologists, like Carl Gustav Jung, one of the most famous psychologists in human history, but of course, when we learn about them in schools, they always forget to mention that part. That a respected, a recognized scientist was also an astrologist like Jung, who actually created the modern archetypes of the zodiac. A lot of people don't know that. All the kings, rulers, emperors of both ancient and medieval times had astrologists working for them, to help make decisions, to do strategic meetings during wars, or to get information about themselves or other important individuals. It might sound surprising, but it's still like this today. The majority of people don't know and couldn't even imagine that a lot of leaders, presidents, prime ministers, politicians, billionaire CEOs do have astrologists. I happen to know it secondhand actually. But they don't want this to be known, of course. But not because they are afraid of looking stupid or superstitious or crazy. On the contrary, they don't want other people to take part in it. They want to keep this sacred knowledge to themselves. They want to keep this advantage, being one step ahead. It's not their interest to have this science benefiting all people, because that would lead to the awakening of people. They would be harder to control and manipulate. And if people found out these individuals in power are using astrologists, that would legitimize astrology. And everybody would want a piece of it, even the ones who didn't believe in it before. And clearly, these leaders and people in power do not want that to happen. You can be 100% sure that such famous and well-known leaders consult astrologists that you couldn't even imagine. There exists even corporate astrology too. It's a thing. In today's modern world, this sacred ancient science has been ridiculed, discredited on purpose, with the intention to shake people's belief in it. That is also why we can see those daily horoscopes in magazines with banal forecasts and future telling, writing such things a person with common sense would never believe. As they shouldn't, because these daily horoscopes has nothing to do with the truth or reality whatsoever. The scientific community also exiled, excluded, and powerful, influential people shaped its image in such a way that it would make people say, "Oh, this is stupid." While those specific people use it, apply it, benefit from it, and creating advantage for themselves against others. For centuries, kings, emperors, and rulers built empires with the help of astrology. Religious leaders and scientists were also deeply involved in it. It served humanity throughout millennia. Back then, not anybody could become an astrologist. It took long years of learning, even a whole lifetime. And besides all the studying and research, they also had to be born to be an astrologist. You can find indicators in your birth chart if you are meant to work with this or not, for example. Unfortunately, plenty of astrologists also contribute to today's bad reputation of astrology, as some are lacking the professional skills and expertise, or some are lacking the spiritual factor. I've had many readings with people who had been to astrologists before and left with a negative aftertaste, with disappointment, you know? Not to mention all the astro services you can find online, or phone lines or text services. These just make the reputation of this sacred science even worse and less creditable. Although it is true that this science is not as exact as mathematics, for example, what I mean is a combination of planets, signs, or aspects can be interpreted different ways, can have multiple meanings, as here we work with energies, directions, patterns, potential, and dynamics, which can manifest differently. When people think of one combination of things can mean only one thing, well, that's when things go off track actually. For example, if somebody's house of work is ruled by Aries, that could be a firefighter or a manager, leader, or even an athlete. And this is just the most simple example I could think of now. But if we go even deeper, the position of planets respectively from the house they rule, plus the different aspects, you can read one thing in many different ways. That is why a birth chart reading has to be a dialogue between two people, questions and answers, so we can narrow down the possibilities and find the right direction, the one that is actually manifesting in a person's life. And that's why you cannot do such readings in written form, for example. For instance, the third house means communication, but siblings too. If somebody doesn't have any brothers and sisters, the third house cannot be interpreted as a sibling, obviously. So you have to ask the person if they have a brother or sister and unfold the meaning of the house accordingly, if you know what I mean. Luckily, there are more and more people becoming open to and interested in the topic, as this whole global shift of consciousness is happening right now. So hopefully, as time goes on, this sacred doctrine will regain its true purpose and a reputation, as more and more people are learning about it and applying it to get a deeper understanding of themselves, their paths, and the world around them. So use this magical tool to learn about yourself, about the world, about others, so you can grow, evolve, create harmony in your being, so you can walk the path designated for you by the cosmos. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to check out my Patreon. Thank you so much for your time. Take care of yourselves.